God.
The third time the head chef came to me about purchasing and something about purchasing with a question, and I'd already answered him the first two times with what do you think or what would you do if you were in my shoes? The third time he came to me with the question, but then he had solution A and solution B and maybe even solution C and said, I'm really leaning towards solution B. Go for it. What did that cost me in brain space or time? Pretty soon he wasn't coming to me unless it was something really tricky or sticky or new.
So that right there is like a small little microcosm of what you said earlier. And it's the only sensible way to run a company. And it's the fastest way to get yourself out of the picture so that your employers are running it. But it starts with that little action that just happened. Because instead of coming to you for an answer or coming to someone else for an answer and then blaming them because of the answer, they then have to stop, and it's a whole different mentality. And it's like, wait, what should I do? And how will that impact the company? And so they start thinking about how each of their actions impact the company. It's just so powerful.
You got it. A quick story, Nick, if you don't mind. I think it was 2014, 3 years in, where we had a mistake, a big mistake. I forget exactly what happened, but we had to give $7,200 back to a client. Now that's a huge order. At the time, I think we were probably a $5.5, $6 million company. I forget what, but that's a lot of money to give to a client. But we screwed it up, right? So we gave them their money back. The next week in the huddle, a line worker, not even a manager or supervisor, said, hey, that mistake last week, where is that in all those numbers up there? And we didn't have a warranty line, right? There's no warranty in food service. Well, the sales come out of the sales, but all the costs are still in the cost of goods, And I thought, wow, that's a really good question. Well, they didn't stop there. They said, so basically it came out of profit. And I said, yeah, that's a better way to think about it. And out of that profit, our bonus pool is set up about, it's a 50-50 split. So out of that $7,200, $3,600 came out of our pockets and $3,600 came out of the company's pockets. Yeah. Oh, we got to do something about that. At the time, that was about 40 something dollars a person. They even said, so that's about 40, $50 a person. Yeah. That we lost last week. Yeah. We got to do something about that. So we did a mini game. Now it was a company-wide mini game about mistakes, not giving back comps. That's what we call it. A comp is when you comp something because you screwed it up, you made a mistake. We did a order entry mini game on mistakes because if they don't enter the order correctly, we're set up for failure. Okay. Then we did a culinary one that they labeled the food correctly. It got out to the delivery personnel on time. We did a delivery one that they packed everything correctly, didn't forget anything, got to the client on time. So we did mini games throughout the company, all focused on mistakes. That year, we'd given away, the trailing 12 months, we'd given back $32,000 on about $6 million in sales. Okay, not too bad for a catering company. There's a million variables that go into it. 3 years later, on about $9 million in sales, we gave back $4,600. So wow. 32,000 to 4,000. That's $28,000 delta. But think of the impact on our company beyond that. Less mistakes equals less customers leaving, equals less new customers that sales has to sell to replace leaving customers, okay, equals systems and processes improvement. It changed the face of our company, and we realized that mistakes, or we call them comps, that's a critical number on our scoreboard today, all right? It's tracked, measured every day, every week, okay? Are we ahead or behind last year? What anything this week, and what's it year to date? It's talked about. The systems and processes and the behaviors that change based on that 90-day mini game lived well beyond the mini game in our company. All right. When our sales team goes in to sell, like say a group of 9 admins in an office building that cover 10 floors or whatever, they ask in a questionnaire, what are the top 3 concerns you have when it comes to ordering catering? And it's not price. It's not quality of food. Okay. It's not presentation. We get everything we ordered. We get it on time every time. And we get hot food hot and cold food cold. So if we can address those 3 things, we'll have a bigger market share than our competitors. We'll steal their clients. Okay. Those are the top 3 concerns. I always joke about it. I say, so that means I could take my dog's bucket of kibbles, and as long as it was there on time, whether it was hot or cold, it was supposed to be, and they got enough, we're good.
I mean, you said that it went from $6 million in revenue to $9 million in revenue in 3 years. That's tremendous growth.
Yeah, a 50% increase in revenue. And what's that? 45, let's call it 5,000 out of 32,000, and a 80% reduction in mistakes.
Yep.
That's significant.
It's amazing.
Yeah, everybody in our company realized that we don't make mistakes, we win. A simple critical number, if you want to call it that.
And then you're like Bill Belichick.
Yeah.
We don't make mistakes, we win.
That's right.
Stop beating ourselves.
That's right.
Wow, that's true. I mean, it worked out. I mean, the revenue growth is like proof in the pudding.
Well, let's just follow this example. A driver shows up and he forgot to pack the waters that were on an order, or the waters weren't on the original entry form. They were on the original entry form, but the people didn't enter it. Somewhere the mistake happened.
Mm-hmm.
All right. There's 15 minutes before they serve. If the driver makes it down to a 7-Eleven or a gas station and picks up the waters and brings them back and puts them on the table, no mistake, no comp. Sure, it was a mistake, but there's no comp.
So anybody can step in and fix it.
Yeah. And as long as, service goes on as scheduled on time, we're good. But in non-great game playing companies, the driver will show up with your order. Oh, where are the waters? Oh, we don't have them. Oh, we'll take it off your bill. Okay, see you later.
Yep.
Right? They don't care. They don't have a stake in it.
Man, that's so powerful. So
that makes it 75 owners running around, even though nobody's an employee owner. We're not ESOP. They take ownership of their actions.
Yeah, what you just said is everything. Because if you can imagine, 75 owners, everyone's an owner running around, how would that look? And how would the service to clients look? And how would that business look, as opposed to, that says everything about the great game, as opposed to one owner or two owners that really care about what the client gets in the end and how we're serving clients, as compared to 75.
Yeah, that driver comes back. Yeah, we got to take the orders off that. Well, why didn't you go and get them? Oh, I don't know.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, then the owner gets pissed off.
Yes.
Says like, God, these guys never listen.
Yeah.
It's the system that's the problem, not the people, really.
Yep.
It's fantastic.
Sorry if I veered off your question.
No, I love it. I love it. I want these stories. It's actually making me more excited about the great game. And I'm also taking these and kind of putting them into my own life and how I'm implementing the great game. You're shining a spotlight on the owner a few times, which is kind of painful, but it's necessary.
Well, I'm kind of lucky in that I'm not an alpha. My two older brothers that are 6 and 16 years older definitely are. So I was always kind of the front line. I understood the front lines a little better than from their positions.
Right. You have to be.
So it was a little easier for me. I've got 5 older sisters, a dominant mother that's since passed, a wife that's an industrial engineer and things go in order, and 2 daughters. So I'm surrounded by that humbling presence. They all take advantage to humble me any chance they get, and that's okay with me.
Yeah. There's power in that.
Yep.
So if we can move on, the next thing I want to talk about just for the remainder of the call is talk about the process of a company coming to you. First, like how do they find you, and then the process of the launch up until launch, and then I haven't really gotten into phase 2 and 3 of Great Game in the coaching side of things yet. But what's the process look like, and for up until launch and then beyond?
All right. I'm not going to get too in the weeds technical, so feel free to ask questions, but somehow they find out about the great game. I think it's 70% or more of our business comes from referrals. So somebody seeing it in action in another company or that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. All right. So they come to us. Many want to self-implement, and that's okay. All right. One coach says that, Dave Skolton says this, and it's so true. You want to lose weight, right? So you start eating better and you're going to lose weight. Okay. Start exercising more. You get a treadmill. Okay. That's step 2. Step 3 is to hire a personal trainer. Now, which one of those 3 things gives you the best chance of success in getting that end goal of losing weight? The personal trainer to hold you accountable. Not only that, but it's amazing that the owner can say something to a design team, or I can say it. It carries much more weight when I say the exact same thing because I'm an outsider, I'm an expert, I'm this, I'm that. So sometimes having that outside presence, other than owner or other than the top CEO or whatever, people will listen and engage in it more.
So how did you get over that in Tasty Catering? Did you see it as an obstacle, or if it was an outsider, do you think it would have went faster?
It's never been gotten over. Tasty Catering is the hardest company I coach because they don't pay me. Therefore, I don't have a value, right? I'm just there as I should, Tasty Catering's game should be the best because I'm a decent coach. So you hit the nail on the head, Nick. I want to trade services with Dave Skolton, and Dave comes in and kicks their butt.
Right.
Yeah,
I'm thinking the same thing in my agency. Like, I think they would definitely get it faster if it wasn't me telling them.
Yes. So back to the original question, if I answered that one, okay.
Yeah.
So anyway, they're interested in the coaching proposal. We get people on the line. We review the proposal. They select a coach. There's different videos that you can watch. They select a coach. Once the contract's signed, within 24 to 48 hours, you get to reach out from the home office. We do employee surveys and management surveys, and there's a financial information tool we need filled out. I send out a welcome, or as a coach, I'd send out a welcome within 24 to 48 hours with next steps. We got to put together that design team that's going to be champions, advocates, advisors, and communicators about all things great game. They're going to get a 3-4 month head start on the rest of the team. So we're coaching the coaches for after level 1 launches.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So once we get the design team picked, then I get their contact info. I do one-on-one calls with each one. Here, the company hired this outside consultant. Change is a coming. People intrinsically fear change and all that other head garbage that comes with, oh, what's the company doing now? I like those one-on-one calls because it humanizes. It starts the relationship with each person on an individual basis before we're in a room. I've got some standard questions. I lay out a little bit about my history, trying to humble myself to show them, I put my pants on one leg at a time, just like everybody else. I'm not some super special wizard that's going to come in and tell you what to do. I really stress that I'm relying on the design team's knowledge of their business and their industry, combined with my knowledge of great game and how to implement. We've got to work together to adapt. It's not a book you pull off the shelf and say, let's do it. You adapt the principles to that business model, the industry. How are we adapted to what's going to work best for that company? In other words, I need you. All right. I'm not just going to come in here and dominate and tell you what to do and slap your hands when you're wrong. We need to work together. We need to play in a sandbox nicely together. So that puts everybody at ease, and also tell them in some little bit of detail what's coming for the next 12 weeks. What are the expectations? What is going to be a drain on their time? All right.